closer.
Hey!
We are finally here with a 2022 Hyundai IONIQ5. This is an SEL trim, and we are so excited that we were finally able to get our hands on one of these because it's been really hard. They sell so fast, and for really good reason. Hyundai put a lot of thought and consideration into the design and functionalities of this EV, and it doesn't look like a pitiful crossover EV either. It actually looks really cool, it looks aggressive, and it drives really well also. Now, the styling of the IONIQ5 perplexes me a little bit because it is very angular yet very swoopy still and aerodynamic, and I think a lot of that is credited to those pixels that you may have seen. They are inside and outside of the car. Moving forward, I'm going to call them cubicles because I think that it's a cuter word. So starting with the headlights, like, yes, they are rectangular, but if you get an even closer, you will see a little cubicle kind of design. There's a kind of tiny little squares, and then those are LED headlights as well as LED daytime running lights. And then the whole like front fascia and front styling reminds me a lot of Bert from Sesame Street because it's just very like straight, like his unibrow is. Yet it travels, like the transition from your grill, like your whole front part here up to your hood is just so, it still looks very seamless in a way. So I'm loving how aggressive this IONIQ5 looks. Though it be small, it does have a frunk. So for a size comparison, I have my relatively small makeup case here, and it won't close if I put it in there. Like, it doesn't matter how I put it, it will not close. There is like a little down step there, so I want to know if you guys had it, what would you put in your frunk? Comment below. One thing that I thought was pretty adorable was that it does still have cargo liners in the frunk so that you can take them out and keep it clean, and it's like a mini cargo liner, like what you have in your cargo space, and it's rubber. I thought that was really cute. There is an all-wheel drive available, however, our SEL is rear-wheel drive, so that's going to come with a single 168 kilowatt motor. That's going to give you 225 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, and on a full charge, you'll have about 300 miles of range. Speaking of charging, let's go look at that. So let's talk about charging. There are 5 little cubicle dudes right there that look like if you were to press it, it would open, but that's not the case. You gotta use your key fob and it'll just open your door right up for you. Now, with a DC fast charger, you can go from 10 to 80% charge in about 18 minutes. And I think that'll get you around 170 to 180 miles of range. Now, the SEL that we have is not equipped with this, but it is available on the limited trim. You can have a 2-way onboard charger. So you can actually charge up another EV if you needed to. If you have like another buddy that didn't plan their life well and ran out of charge, you're like, oh, I'll come to your rescue in my IONIQ5. Also, on a recent episode of The Bachelor, you can judge me, it's fine. They literally plugged in the barbecue and cooked the most pathetic looking hamburgers and hot dogs. So you could have it for like, it's a perfect car for a tailgate. You can charge big appliances, you can charge literally a car. Pretty neat. And then you press this other little cubicle in there and your door closes. There are so many style points of the IONIQ5 in the back. Starting with your rear spoiler. At first glance, you can't actually see that it does pass through, but it does. It just looks really seamless. I love the white IONIQ5 badge, especially against the black. And then you get more little cubicle dudes in these LED taillights here, which is very cute. You do have a hands-free lift gate on the SEL and a ton of cargo space. So, you know, what it lacks in the front, it makes up for right here in the back, where you're gonna actually be putting stuff like your groceries and, you know, whatever else. So you do have, you know, a small little storage pocket under here. This whole thing just lifts right up. If you wanted to hide smaller items away, you could absolutely do that. And both seats do fold relatively flat, giving you a lot more space to work with. I wanted to hop in the back and show you this quickly before we move up to the driver's seat. So this driver's seat is adjusted as far back as it can possibly go. I am 5'1" for reference, which is very, very short, and I have a lot of leg room still, even with this as far back as it can be. You also have 2 USB charging ports down here, and there's like a small little pocket. I don't really know what you would keep back there. I just put my phone there for reference. And you also have very well placed AC vents here on these like side pillars. I love them being here instead of up in the roof. I feel like it's gonna give you the airflow where you actually want it. I was slightly concerned when I saw the initial photos and video of the inside. I was afraid that it was going to look maybe a little bit cheap, but that's not the case whatsoever, especially with like the steering wheel. I thought that it was gonna feel like a lot, it was just different than what I was expecting it to be in person, and I'm happy that it is. It's interesting that it has the little cubicles on your horn instead of the Hyundai logo. You do have actual buttons here, even though they do look like they're all touch. They are not. They are, oh, I keep trying to talk to my voice recognition here. But it's nice to actually have functional buttons on your steering wheel, because I know a lot of manufacturers are changing that. You also have a drive mode button down here to the left, so you can go into eco, normal, sport, or snow. You have a relatively, we'll call it beefy armrest here. I just feel like it's well placed, and you could totally fit 2 arms here comfortably. You don't have a ton of space in here. You can fit your whole cell phone and maybe a wallet, some pens, something like that in here, and this whole piece also will lift up. So if you wanted to fit something bigger here, you could, or if you just wanted to make it easier to put something like your purse or even a backpack would fit right there, honestly. And then down here is where your wireless device charging is. You do have, of course, a USB input there, as well as a 12-volt power source. The IONIQ5 is loaded with standard features. You get a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and a 12.3-inch navigation and infotainment system. Within that, you can use your dynamic voice control, so you can turn on your AC with your voice, you can open up your trunk, stuff like that. You also have a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and you get heated front seats, and also in the back is a rear parking sensors, so totally standard. Some more standard safety features that you get are blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, you have a driver attention warning to make sure that your eyes stay on the road. You also have a highway driving assist with stop and go. Don't be sad about fuel prices anymore. Take the IONIQ5 for a spin. And a quick shout out to Fremont Hyundai for hooking it up with this car. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. Bye.